Ooh, dun, dun, dun. This is where I should probably have a smoke machine to blow about ominous fog on the horizon. So hello and welcome to an unboxing video with extra fluff. Wow, that guy scarpered pretty quick, didn't he? Okay, so this is gonna be like a bit of a different video, just to what I'm normally unboxing. It's usually like, we've got the beautiful assistant. Da, 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 da. I've had a long day. I've been Christmas shopping, and I came home to pretty much all of the Resident Evil. Oh, sorry, just check my mics. Okay, yeah, we're good. All of the Resident Evil 2, the board game stuff that I backed on Kickstarter. If you don't know, Steamforge, the creators behind Dark Souls, the board game, have been pushing this as their newest Kickstarter, or latest that was, the Resident Evil 2, the board game, trying to get it out for Christmas. And for people in the UK, and I've been following it for quite some time, it all came here. We got the core game, we got all of the Kickstarter stuff, as well as extras that you could buy as well. So what I wanted to do was make a quick video, sort of giving my opinion on, or just unboxing basically, because I haven't played it. I've watched like playthroughs or like testers when they were at sort of certain conventions, and I don't have too much experience with board games. Really, I was mainly a Monopoly kind of guy growing up, and like I didn't really dabble in like real like hardcore RPG board games like Dungeons and Dragons. However, my first foray into oh yeah, hold on, we'll show. So this is the front of the box, Resident Evil 2, the board game. And on the back of the box, so this is the core game. So we've got how this game basically plays out, which is you play certain campaigns. Depending on how many people you play with, some people start in different areas, different parts, and basically it boils down to they've got to go through rooms, not die, collect the key or object that they need to get out, and proceed to the exit. And that's basically be all and end all. But however, along the way, rooms, you encounter zombies, there's a tension deck that constantly heats up as the game goes on, making it like if you get through quick, pretty easy. If you take your time collecting things, more chances of bad things happening. And basically when that tension deck runs out, that's the timer and the game's over. And because I really like Dark Souls, I was like, oh my god, a Resident Evil 2 board game? Hell yeah, I'm gonna buy that. So basically, it seems to be a lot quicker paced than Dark Souls. So I'm expecting it to be a pretty good game. 1 to 4 players, average age 14 plus, and 90 to 120 minutes playtime. Well, I'm glad they're saying that. In Dark Souls board game, it says 60 to 90 minutes, which is a gosh darn lie. That takes like 3 hours. Oh, there we go. Already we're greeted with this. Game contains scenes of explicit violence and gore, which if you played the video game, that's what you're greeted to start with. Should probably hold it up like this. So we've got Resident Evil 2 board game rulebook. We're definitely going to be looking through that a lot. If it's anything like the Dark Souls board game, which wasn't explained too well. I've already actually looked at the PDF of this, and it seems pretty simple. Runs very similar to Dark Souls. You've got like behavior decks for bosses, your damage cubes and stamina cubes. You have your health token, which is there, or your health tracks, and you've also got dials for guns, so you can keep track on instead of stamina for attacks, you've got bullets. And the Resident Evil 2 scenario book. So this, it tells you all of the places to go, how to set up the game tiles, and a campaign mode tracker. If it's anything like the Dark Souls campaign mode, there is no point to that at all, because it's unlimited and boring. So here we go, we've got, oh wow, this is a lot smaller than I thought it was actually gonna be. Yeah, that's actually a lot smaller, which is good, because if you set up Dark Souls on a table, it could take the whole table, and you've got to finish it then and there, or else, unless you've got a dedicated table. It's perfect for you, but you've got to finish it pretty quick, so we've got a bunch of different decks here, different scenarios, as well as all the things we've got to punch out. There you go, you've got your ink ribbons, handgun ammo, bullets, all the dials and what have you. So you're going to spend some time taking all of these out because there's quite a few in here. And here we go. This is really what I was interested in. Look at them there. So we've got big smelly boss dude. Can you tell I'm like a hardcore Resident Evil fan? We've got a G mutant, I think that is. We've got the Lickers. Oh my god, this seems like if we just have a look. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll get them out before we start comparing them to size of the Dark Souls miniatures, but already I can tell they're a lot smaller. They obviously took to heart some comments that were about how basically huge the boss miniatures and everything was, and the game itself, and they seem to have downscaled it for Resident Evil, which is probably a good thing. Like I said, unless you've got a table dedicated for a game like this. Oh my god, I just cut myself on the plastic. It's not even hurting at the moment. Nah, you could barely see it. Be careful. Jeez, that's razor sharp. That's gonna start bleeding in a second and itch like a mother. Wow. Okay, let's start with Leon S. Kennedy, shall we, as a miniature. Ooh, this guy is very, very small. He is tiny. If you compare that to like a Dark Souls miniature, yeah, there's a big difference in size there between the two. I mean, not too much, but definitely noticeable. Even though they've sort of downgraded the size of the models. There we go, we can get in focus. They have not skimped out on the details. This is just a regular, like, sort of walking zombie. And you can see all the tears on the shirt, like even flesh missing on the face. Zombie number 2, outstretching for a lovely handshake. You got 4 of each of these zombie types. So you've got that guy, you've got the handshaking dude, this beautiful young lady out in the town. Right, so let's go on to so these are the basic characters. So you've got Leon S. Kennedy. I think this is Barry with his shotgun. But I do know like the main character's name, so I'm pretty sure this is Ada Wong. Now, each character comes with like a unique like ability. They also can carry like a certain number of guns and a certain amount in their backpack. I haven't played through it yet, but each character, just like with Dark Souls, with the assassin class and the warrior and knight, each one should give a different feel. Here I am, I'm like saying, oh yeah, you'll get like a completely different playstyle. They might just like, oh, I can't have that gun. Well, hopefully that's not the case. Ooh, that's another little bit of the miniature. I'm like, that better not get caught in it. Like, look at that. I can so see that getting caught on something. I could just run this by my jumper and it's gonna explode off. Zombie woof woofs. And as soon as I say that, there's dogs barking. that freaked me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. You've got like a normal pose there, and then this pose. Good job painting these, they're bloody tiny. Stood on a pile of like mutated flesh. That's quite nice. Ready to jump into action at a moment's notice. We've got, I think this is the G mutant. I could be wrong. I'm so sorry, I'm gonna get slaughtered in the comments. Look at him! Oh, looks horrendous. This is probably enough. This size scale. I don't think you really wanted anything too much bigger for like a regular player. But then we get onto the G mutant, I think it is. I think. Who's beautifully sculpted in all his horrendous glory there. Look at it there. Look at that arse! And that is basically all of the playables that you get. I mean, you get some dice. Don't really need to worry about these, they're just friggin' things for the dials. I tell you what though, getting these guys back in the right order is, it's gonna be a bit of a pain. It was quite obvious with Dark Souls which characters went where, but with this one, like if I just show you, like the holes are so vague that if you take all these characters out, getting them back in is going to be a bit of a faff on. So not only are you probably going to be playing for ages, you're going to be like once you've done playing, you're going to be figuring out where things go, which is a bit of a shame. Like if you think about it, there's a lot of like empty plastic here, just not being utilized. Jeez, I'm going to need a bin near me with all this rubbish that all the packaging. So this is Leon's card. So at the bottom, it shows the guns that he can wield. So in this case, I'm assuming that is some sort of handgun, shotgun, and a magnum? Oh my god, I'm being cut by the blooming cards as well. This is dangerous. So also at the top, I think that shows the dodge evade. So certain characters have an evade value. So regular zombies, I think you need at least a 1 evade to evade, but Leon has a 2, so even so, I think lickers he can dodge past. Also, he can carry 8 things in his backpack, and his ability is Cool Under Fire. And that is once per activation, Leon may use an item while 1 or more enemies are in his square without making an evade roll. Might as well just go through these now, they're not too long. Claire Redfield has a 2 dodge and 8 backpack. Made in Heaven is her ability. Once per scenario, Claire may spend an action to heal another character on the same tile by 2 levels. Can have the same handgun, but can have a crossbow and a grenade launcher. It wasn't Barry, it was Robert Kendo, never mind. Barry wasn't in Resident Evil 2, maybe he was, I don't know. Okay, so apparently Ada Wong has 2. So you got the 2 dodge, but can only have 6 items in the backpack. Reckless. At the end of any character's activation, including her own, Ada may take an out-of-sequence activation. After doing so, she must forfeit her following activation. And Intrigue. Once per scenario, Ada may discard a card drawn from the tension deck without resolving the effects. So in other words, that means that on her turn, you can make sure that nothing's going to happen. Nothing, like no zombies are going to burst into your room, no zombies are going to open doors or anything like that. Good God, we've got a lot to get through, don't we? We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes and monsters as well, but I think we can quickly fly through these. I thought that, I don't know, I kind of like having like a big chunky figure. It kind of reminds me of like when Jurassic Park 3 happened and all of a sudden the action figures were like 3/4 instead of 6 inches or whatever. It was like, why is Alan Grant tiny? And I feel like the same. I've been so used to playing Dark Souls that like I see these and like they're just so small. They're made for like, I've got a huge hand. I could probably hold all the character models in one single hand. Anyway, this is the other character. Oh God, get him in focus there. Yes, Robert Kendo. Apparently, this is the only character in the base set that only has a dodge of 1 and can only hold 6, but can have the shotgun, the grenade launcher, and the handgun. Marksman. Once per activation, Kendo may re-roll all of the dice from an attack roll, provided the weapon used was not a knife. He must keep the results of the second roll. So you've kind of got a second chance, just in case you miss and you really need that kill. Robert has the guaranteed, or at least a second chance. If you got super unlucky and you used like your shotgun's last bullets, that activation or that type of activation is probably going to be really helpful for you. So yeah, here you go. You've got like, so I'll just have a quick scan through all of these. So this is basically the, this is what's going to rule your game. So every now and again, you flip one of these cards. This is the tension deck. They've sort of changed the backs of the cards actually, because the tension deck, from what I remember, didn't have a doorway on it. Either way, well, that's a slight change. Maybe that's the Kickstarter version, I'm not sure. So you flip it over, and then it tells you a little bit of what happens in the scenario. In this case, the wind scratches across empty streets. The only movement in the merciful stillness. Basically, you go through all these, and then you take out like so many cards, and you flip it over again. And if you run out of your entire tension deck, then the game is over. So this is a character for a regular zombo. So you've got its movement there, you've got its health, and I do not remember exactly what that logo means because I haven't played it yet, and I've only remembered so much of the sort of playthroughs that I've seen. So Suicide Lunge. This attack cannot be evaded. After resolving the attack, the zombie is killed. So that's its special ability. This is if the tension deck, if I remember right, specifically calls for an enemy in that square or something like that, for this enemy to perform its special ability, which is that. And then you've got some other details about it, like how much damage it does and evadeness. I'm not too sure. Probably should have looked that up in the rule book, actually. You know what? Should we do that? We'll have a look in the manual. So that's saying that it has a range of 0, so the zombie needs to be on your exact node in order to hit you, and it is a bite attack. That does 1 damage if you get hit by that. If I remember right, I'm not supposed to change the way this tension deck is made out. It's deliberately put out in this sort of order to play the campaign through in a tutorial manner. So I'm not going to go about and change anything here. So that's basically the tension deck. I mean, zombie boss behaviors are you just flip it over and it tells you how to resolve the card. Nothing too special that we really need to go in. These are the dice. If the damn camera will focus, there we go. Your blue dice, which have a less chance to get shot, and the orange dice, which have a better chance to get bullet. And then you've got this dice, which tells you what the encounter is going to be, because it's got numbers on it. So I think 1's a pretty good encounter, which nothing really, and possibly the umbrella being the highest. You get it, you get it. James, stop embarrassing yourself. Making yourself look like a fool again. And then you've got your own little deck, and these are the items and weapon cards. And if I do this, will it focus even quicker? No, apparently. There you go. So that you got the handgun there. It tells you what kind of dice you need to roll for it. Not as straightforward as a Dark Souls. There's a lot going on. I'm not gonna lie. But what I wanted to showcase, this right here is a standard Dark Souls tile. So you've got your character, you've got the armor, and you've got the stats here. Basically, it's quite a big thing, with a lot of it dedicated to a picture of the character, which is fine, that's all aesthetics. But if you look here, this isn't, I mean, like already, this is almost half, it's over half of the board. All you need for the Resident Evil 2 for a character is this, and you need a health tracker just to plant on to know how much health you've got left, and then your dials for whatever weapon you've got. That's it. You don't need all of this going on over here. Steamforged have definitely paid attention to just how much space this kind of game really did take up. I wasn't too fussed because I did have a big table, and I don't know, I'm a kid, so I like to have big figures and be like, yeah, kill you, attack that. Feel a bit gypped, not gonna lie, about the models. I would have been fine with them sticking to like a size that would have been similar to Dark Souls, but I do understand why they did it. Now, the problem that Dark Souls had when it came to the playing the board game was the fact that a lot of the game was based with you facing off against the same grunts over and over again, that being Hollow Soldiers, Silver Knights, and the occasional large Hollow Soldier and Sentinel. Basically like 4 different types. And this game, it's kind of the same. You've got the dogs, the zombies, you have got like modified zombies, modified lickers and all that jazz. If you were to play this game 3 or 4 times, you'd probably know how to deal with everything, and there would be no technical challenge in it. You see that zombie, you know how to take care of it. When I had played through Dark Souls a couple of times, and I'd realized that I was starting to get a bit bored of the same roster, I really wanted like just some more characters to come out, which is why when they eventually released the Dark Route, which is technically the only 100% necessary expansion that you need for Dark Souls, I got my hands on it straight away, because what this basically does is add like 5 new grunt enemies to the game, which is just what it needed. The bosses are beautiful. They're great to take on, and they have their own challenges and weaknesses. That's really cool, but that's only a tiny portion of the game. A lot of it is just grinding through, which is what this Resident Evil board game will be, and that's why I'm explaining this, because that's why we've got the B files, which is extra added on. Yeah, we've got like different bosses added to it, this is the Malformation of G expansion. Brings in new behavior cards and new boss enemies. Because of this, because Steamforged released this, and it changed the game, it just made it seem a lot fresher. I felt like I was kind of excited to see what encounter I was going to get. That's why I got all of these. That's why I bought the rest of them. So, leading from that, how about we go straight to the survival horror expansion? It's literally just called that, which has a lovely. That looks like a main character. I feel like that guy is a main character that turns into a zombie. I'm not sure. And in this one, now again, this is another reason why to buy this. I mean, you saw that each character in the base game had their own unique abilities and playstyles. Here, we've got new characters. We've got Annette Birkin, Sherry Birkin, should be the Birkin expansion, William Birkin, Ben Bertolucci, Brian Irons, Brad Vickers, and Marvin Branner. And not only do we have that, we've also got 2 giant spiders, 2 ivies, a zombie Brad Vickers, and a zombie Marvin Branner. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to go too in depth in this, even though I say that and then I go in depth into one thing and then leave out probably something that you're wanting to see. Because there's going to be a lot of people who have just got this now who are like, oh, how do I play it? It's so confusing. I'm sorry, I'm probably having the same problem. Right, well, looks like I'm going through all of these different characters, aren't I? Right, so how about we start with what looks like the most fun? The spider. So, there you go. Nice, good look at the spider. Ooh, you can see its fangs there. Oh, it looks gorgeous. Quick look at the ivy creatures. Don't really remember these guys too much from playing the game. To be honest, when I was a little kid, well, not even a little kid, even older, when I saw Resident Evil, I wouldn't touch it because I was too scared of it. I had a friend who had like Nemesis or Resident Evil 3, I think it was, and there was a part like where he would burst through in the police department, and he would burst through the glass when you're going down the stairs. Scared the life out of me. It scarred me, and I never like played another Resident Evil game again because he was like playing through it normally, and he was like, oh yeah, go down there, see what happens. And yeah, that happened. Which is why this is perfect for me, because I can't get a jump scare from models coming out and attacking me. Model Showcase! So, that was actually, that survival horror expansion was free, because I backed it on Kickstarter, so, yeah, pretty happy with that. So, in this one, we get a tyrant, which I'm guessing is a boss, I'm assuming? And then the tyrant evolved sort of version, when he goes all buff, when he's been shot a couple of times. We've got 8 new different zombies and 2 evolved lickers, actually. What awaits us? I wonder if it's this usual big black plastic thing and like 5 figures within it. Oh, no, not exactly. Ooh, this one actually seems to come with different tiles. Oh, that must be, this seems to be like the final boss square. So you've got like the marked target, which I'm assuming is what the tyrant is after. So it's a bit like aggro, like the aggro token in Dark Souls. Corpses and a rocket launcher token as well. The only reason the box is the size it is for the friggin' tiles. Look at that. They not like scaled up figures. Look how that, you could have put 0.5 size on them. They just got so nice, it's like such a nice detail to them. So let's have a look at the roster. Let's have a look at this guy. The regular tyrant in his trench coat. Again, really nice sculpt. It's got like a weird paint splodge on his little pocket there. No, that's just a bit of dirt, never mind. How are you supposed to come out? Why is his little claws poking out? They're so going to be snapped off, or they're going to stab somebody. That's pretty bad, especially when it's so close to the base. That's gonna go in somebody's skin before it breaks off, actually. Also, I've got to remember where I place them. I've literally got to put them back in as soon as I'm done with them, or else I'm gonna forget where they go. Eight different zombies, 2 new sculpts, so you got 4 of each. I was actually expecting a third sculpt. Right, let's see if I can pick up the pace, or else I'm gonna be here all night. How about we go for this one? This was like a stretch goal, I think they unlocked, but you still had to pay for it, I think? Yeah, no, this was 10 quid. This was basically like a joke for them unlocking so much of the Kickstarter. You can play as Hunk, which I think, like Revelations, was it? Resident Evil Revelations? And you can also play as Tofu. Which I think was like a password I think you could put in for Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 1. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Resident Evil 2 or 3. But if you ever wanted to play the game as Tofu, you've got your options are there. Go for it. Even more different tiles. I guess I didn't really buy it for the different tiles, but it's nice to have some variety. To be honest, Like, if I'm showing that to you, you can't see anything, right? Like, you can barely pick up anything going on there. It's because I mean, Resident Evil's a dark game. So, like, this also is incredibly... They could have done with, like, turning the brightness up just, like, a tiny bit. Just, like, 4% so I can see a little bit of what's going on in here. I can see a car there and computers. You're probably best playing this with the lights off. You're gonna see just as much. And you'll take control of either Umbrella Agent Hunk or Legendary Tofu. As these iconic characters, you'll battle your way through an impossible gauntlet of enemies while trying to escape the overrun RPD building. The second mode is Extreme Battle, a series of quick-fire player versus player scenarios in which characters race to find hidden bombs in order to stop the dangerous biohazard outbreak. So it looks like that's why we've got a different tile here. Probably because 2 characters really doesn't warrant 10 quid. That's pretty much that done. It's interesting that with this one, the 4th Survivor expansion, they actually gave it like a proper cover. And you'll see what I mean, because this one, for instance, Resident Evil, the board game 2, Murder from Above, which I'm assuming refers to crows, has this like weird, like we're not trying anymore kind of vibe going for it. Like there's nothing. There's nothing on the back of that box or anything. It's just empty thing telling you what it is. Oh, I love the sound of the plastic. I'm sure there's actually going to be somebody who's got, oh, look at that. We got a boss tile. That's neat. Actually quite bright as well in comparison to a lot of them. You can kind of see sort of what's going on. Now you can see, like the way this is, the way with Dark Souls, you had nodes, so you moved on to nodes. Whereas this, it's sort of like a grid system, so you've got a square there, square there, square there. Right. Ooh. Oh wow, that's horrendous. Yeah, with these bosses, I was expecting something along the size of like Dark Souls bosses. Not so quite. They're kind of the same size as like a normal dude. I don't want to show that one actually. I feel like YouTube's algorithm is going to look at this and pick it up as something else. There you go. That thing, that's probably as much as I can show you of the front. This thing, oh, ooh, I don't even face him. Yeah, there you go. There's a lovely side view. That good enough for you? See, that looks cool, and it's big, and you can pick up all the detail on it. Like, look at that. Oh my god, we got through that super quick. Okay, here we go. This is like the last of the legit ones. This is, oh god, Resident Evil 2, Malformations of GB Files expansion. That is Birkin Stage 5. Oh, Stage 5. My favorite of all the stages. I feel this is so gonna get demonetized. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, look at that. Look how ginormous that is. Okay, that's... Yeah, okay, I can understand. Just, as long as they're not all that big. The beaver complains about them being too small, then when they're too big. Ooh. It's just a vile, horrible nightmare mess, is what it is. It's kind of grossing me out looking at it. Why'd I spend money on this? There's the other dude. Resident Evil 2 Survivor Pledge. Kickstarter exclusive alternate sculpts. Oh, okay. So this is something that you can't get anywhere else except for the Kickstarter. Now the problem, and the reason why I actually backed this was when it came to Dark Souls and they did their Kickstarter, like they had different goals that they all reached, like alternate characters, armor sets, and the thing was, they never shipped them. They shipped the base core game out, and they were so far behind with scheduling. I think I've got no credit at this. I'm just assuming this is what's happened. But the characters didn't come out. The expansions that were hit by the Kickstarters didn't go out either. They're slowly catching up on them now, but like they're doing this, and they're just getting a lot of money. I think is their problem, and maybe they're just falling behind with certain things, but they're finally catching up with the Dark Souls. Zombies on fire, a police zombie. You've actually got corpse zombies down here. Now, a part of the game is that corpses will be placed on your map, and if you walk over a tower with a corpse on it, he will get up, or he has a chance to get up and reanimate. And there's some activations that do. And I like this guy. I like this guy right here who's already like climbing outside of the thing. And I mean, it's free, so I'm gonna be happy with that. But again, look at this. Look how thick that is. Like, the sculpts are tiny. Like, absolutely tiny. And I just spat on the thing there, beautiful. It really does not need to be that big. Like, this, the Resident Evil 2, the, like, tofu edition, look at that. It's almost 3 times as thick. It's definitely twice as thick. Is this one necessary? No, it wasn't necessary from the start, and they just, it's almost like a thank you for kickstarting, and I'm completely happy with that. If it was something for, again, and going back to Dark Souls, if it was like an alternate like model for a Hollow Soldier, I would actually really appreciate that, because there's like each character there's only one model, so you have 3 Hollow Soldiers, and they all look the same. That ever becomes a problem, you get bored. I don't think you would get bored because they're so highly detailed and they're just zombies and they all kind of act the same. I don't think you would think, oh look, finally it looks a bit different. You're just going to think, oh, it's another zombie. So strange that we've got that in Resident Evil, but don't have that with Dark Souls, where it would kind of matter more, I think. With zombies, it's like, he's just a dead dude. But with Hollow Soldiers, he's got a shield, he's got a sword, the zombie's on fire! Ooh! Unless there is a specific behavior for a zombie on fire. This is where we get into the mystery segment, because I have no idea what's in this one. So here we go. More different types of zombies. The same zombies, in fact, actually, that I just looked at. Looking back at this purchase now, I don't think I really needed this. If I've got to be honest. I got carried away, okay. I was like, ooh, more zombies. Yes! But I get the feeling I'm probably never going to open that one again. So basically, these are a way for anybody who wants extra different looking zombies or different looking creatures. And this is Monster Box 2, which comes with a few more different lickers, I think it is. Again, you've got the pronged feet one there sticking out again that we've already seen, and a few different dogs. So at this point, I have like 12 dogs. Wow, this is what happens when you let a man-child loose with money. He buys a lot of the same thing. Spiders and ivy. That's the only one I haven't seen duplicated again. Oh, he was right! We got a winner! Even more spiders and ivy. Now, I think the game deliberately, like with the B files that I think these ones came in, they deliberately give you enough where you're not gonna run out of like, oh, I need a third spider. Where's the third spider? So this is completely optional. So now this is the part of the unboxing. Thank you for sitting through 3 mid-rolls. Cheers. 3D doors upgrade set. It's kind of interesting because there was a third party on eBay selling treasure chests and barrels for the Dark Souls board game and gravestones. And it was basically just like they'd created them on like Maya or Blender or whatever, and had 3D printed them out and were selling them. Which is a beautiful idea because it adds like, instead of it being a flat board with like different characters just standing up like a few skyscrapers in a desert landscape. Now you might laugh at me, but this is a door. Well, you wouldn't laugh at a door. I don't know why you would laugh at a door. But this door actually has a really kind of key role in the game. When you enter a room, you spend an action point opening a door. But the thing is, if you leave said door open, if there's a zombie in another room and you're moving around, he can still hear you and he will also go through the door. So you need to spend another action point closing the door. Now, if you don't have this extra set, then you don't know, like you just have tokens on the floor. It's just a picture of a door open and a picture of a door closed. Whereas if you have this standing above your board game, you'll easily know if a door's open or closed. And you won't end up, oh wait, we left the door open, oh we should have played that zombie go through. Oh, that's changed the way the game would have played. This, out of Monster Box 2, 3, 1, you know, all those jazz, this is, even though it's just a door, it's actually quite essential for the core game. If you're wanting to buy, if you have Kickstarter and you did get it, I don't know if you can buy it separately now, but if you do have the chance to pick it up, I would suggest getting doors. Not only does it help immerse you in the world, but it's also actually kind of mandatory, like, because you've seen how dark the tiles are. The door tile is just going to be just as dark as everything else. So it's actually going to really help. And here another 3D upgrade set. Please don't be more doors. James, what are you doing? I wasn't drunk, I swear. More doors. No, here you go. See, there, more realism. So instead of placing down a token that is just a picture of a corpse, you can place down an actual figure of a corpse, and they come in different poses. And not only that, but if you really want to get immersed in the world, there's also these. Wow, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 different corpses, so that's really good. But you also, you get this. If the camera will focus on it, it says ink ribbon, and you can find that probably on the floor somewhere. Not only that, but we've got the classic typewriter there for a safe room, and also a treasure chest. Well, not a treasure chest, but a sort of crate where I think you can find things and also store weapons in, so that's kind of handy. All of these you'll get as normal sort of cardboard cutouts that you can place on the board itself. You will not be judged, but I will be, because I'm making a video on it. I think I'll probably write on the box corpses and doors, because they don't know why they didn't call them that. Well, technically the final one is this guy. This is the one that I was like, I need it. The giant sewer alligator. They didn't make any sharks, but they brought the alligator, and I was not going to say no to that. So this guy will play exactly like the other bosses. It'll probably have its own behavior card, I assume. For some odd reason, he, unlike all the G mutants and all that jazz, he didn't come with a unique box for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe they're scalist, if that's even a word. Oh, look at it. It's friggin' glorious. So you've got items, so you've got the item card to get, or sorry, the key card. Or the key, it's a card with the key on it. How the giant alligator moves. Again, more tiles that are all so just had to turn up the exposure. All you had to do was turn up the exposure. I don't know if you can see it. Are you ready for the biggest waste in a box? Oh my god. All of this empty space. Oh wow. Well, and the fact that it's thick as anything. Well, I think it has to be kind of thick because the alligator is really big. And here it is in all its glory. A beautiful sculpt, all the individual scales there. That's a really good sculpt. Now this is more of the size of stuff that I was used to with Dark Souls, like a big boss. Here's the tile, ready? So it's about that big. You've got it's a 3x3 square. Are you ready to see the alligator on it? Like, wow, it doesn't even fit in. Its head sticking out and everything. A close quarters battle like that is probably going to have its own unique challenges. I didn't realize it was alive. I'm starting to see the problem. I'm realizing if you've actually went a bit crazy like me and have bought everything, you're not gonna have any space left in your house. With all the bosses that came out for Dark Souls, there's like a new campaign mode. So you got a Dragon Slayer campaign mode where you take on all the dragons and you don't get souls, you get treasure. Stuff like that. It's a cool little gimmick, but I'm sure it's the same here. It's like maybe some different tiles and a different way to play the game. But to be honest, I've got all of this. So I will be dead by the time I'm coming to the expansion that's in this one, I would assume. Or I hope I don't get bored of it. I haven't got bored of Dark Souls, yeah, the doggy version. Okay, card's full on that one. So this is the last that I've got to unbox, which is the Murder from Above, which I'm assuming is birds? What'd you call a flock of crows? That's right, a murder, which that's what I'm assuming. Oh, kind of, it kind of is. So Murder from Above, sorry you can't really see that because that camera has, well, kind of died. So I'm assuming the way that this works, so if... Oh my god, the intricate details. I'll do a close-up afterwards, I'm sure I'll put it in, but like each individual feather of the crows, They kind of look like parrots rather than crows because they've got a very short little beak. And then you've got the moth, which is a little bit bigger. Probably about the size of a licker. So you get your little cards with it, which will probably be shuffled into the tension deck. And that's how these guys will spawn. Because there doesn't seem to be any unique tile or anything. Oh no, no there is. There's a unique setup for it, never mind. Well, that's really cool. So we've got like a unique mission. I'm wondering though, if you can just put them in like a regular playthrough. Now, I guess I can give my review. Well, there it was. That was pretty much everything from Resident Evil 2, the board game on Kickstarter. I think there was a couple of things I missed. Like, I can't remember exactly, but there might have been an extra boss in there or something. But by the end, I was like, right, I'll just get it all. And if I end up not using a certain thing, I can just sell it. Models, graphics on the models, beautiful. Scale, a little bit too small. Some are very big. I'm assuming they've scaled everything, so there's a reason why the big ones are really big and the small ones are kind of small. But the level of detail, in comparison to the Dark Souls, is far greater on these ones than it ever was in the Dark Souls. So the Steam Forward have definitely upped their game on this one. And as far as all the expansions go, this game has a long lifespan. As long as the game's good. Haven't played it yet, but if the game at its core, that core game works really well, the rest of it will be just as good. There's like plenty of add-ons for it that can mix and match different campaigns, different enemies, which will just really help prove the longevity. Like Dark Souls, only problem I felt personally was just the grind of the same old characters. Like you had encounter cards and that changed depending on what happened. But with this game, and the campaign breaks because it's unlimited. With this one, you've got the tension deck. You've got all the different enemies that can spawn up. And when I was just sort of watching it, I was really excited to get my hands on it and just play it for myself. And anyway, guys, that about wraps up all of this. If I have missed any, I'm sure I've put them up. Enjoy this video, leave a like, and until next time, I'll see you back to normal. Bye!